All right, kids. So I want to create this function's smallest of three, which gets three parameters passed to it, three numbers, and you want to return the smallest of those three numbers. There are a lot of ways to do that. I think I'm going to do it just the most straightforward way using just a whole bunch of if statements. That's all. So let's go to code.org. I'm going to take out all of my stuff that I used in that last sum list. And let's go function smallest of three, and we're going to pass num1, num2, num3. And I'm not gonna do this in any way fancy. I'm just going to compare each number to the other until I find the smallest one. So if num1 is less than num2 and num1 is less than num3, if that's the case, that means num1 is the smallest. I'm going to return num1. And we should probably, I'm not going to deal with ties. I'm going to make sure that these three numbers are all different. So we could deal with ties if we wanted to. I'm not going to deal with ties. So I'm just going to copy this code again. I'm going to go out past that if statement. And I'm just going to say now, if num2 is less than num1 and num2 is less than num3, then I'm going to return num2. And let's do it one more time. If num3 is less than num2 and num3 is less than num1, that means num3 is the smallest. I'm going to return num3. And so I don't need any return statements anywhere else. Like in the last one, we had to go outside that for loop and return total. This, I'm returning it as I go. If these two conditions are met, num1 is the smallest, and it won't do any of those other ones. If num2 is the smallest and those two conditions are met, it will return num2. And if these two conditions are met, then it's going to return num3. So let's try it and see what happens. So console log smallest of three, and I'm just going to put in 1, 2, and 3. And so it should return the number 1. So let's reset and run, and it returns the number 1. And all three numbers would be different. If you wanted to deal with ties, you could. Certainly possible all three numbers are the same. But even that would still work out. All right. That is that, kids.